everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I created this very unwearable glamorous look. I totally improvised during the video. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to create something really glam, so that's what I did. And yes, so in that video you're only going to see the foundation, the base, not the eyes, not the lips, because I really went and detailed everything I did for the foundation, because I promised you that I was going to do a foundation routine. So for this video it's only going to be the foundation part, but I'll put the eye makeup and the lip makeup in my description box, so that if you want to see how to create these eyes and this lip, then just go and check that out. But yeah, so for today's video it's going to be the foundation, so just keep watching if you want to see how I did that base. So excuse my skin because I have a really bad skin day. As you can see, normally it's not as red around my eyes and I have some spots here and there, sorry. So the first thing I do is I moisturize my skin, obviously. So what I like to use is this Forsali Rose Gold Elixir. So I don't use that every single time I do my makeup, it depends. Sometimes I use that, sometimes I use my Embryolisse cream. But yeah, most of the time before applying my makeup I use this this oil. So this is what I'm going to do right now. But yeah, always remember to moisturize your skin before applying anything on it, because it's really gonna help sticking your foundation on, and it's also gonna help protect your skin from the makeup. It's very important. So yeah, just think about moisturizing your face before applying anything on it, always. So yeah, this is a very good oil. So the next step I do is applying some Strobe Cream by MAC. So this is really good. This is the original one, because I know that they came out with a bunch of different shades, but this is just the original one, you know, the one that has no specific color here. I think you know what I mean. So I just take that on the back of my hand, and then I'm just gonna apply this on the high points of my face, and it's really gonna help to give me that glow that you kind of think comes from the inside, you know, like that subtle glow that really makes a difference on your skin at the end, like you'll see. And so what I like to do is I like to apply this after my moisturizer but before my foundation, so that it really looks like it comes from my actual skin, you know, like it's really subtle like that. And sometimes if I have some left on the back of my hand, I'll just keep it there, and then I'll apply a little bit of what's left on my hand on top of the foundation. So maybe I'll do that after. And so I'm not a big primer person. I don't use primer every day because I don't really, I don't know, I just don't want to be bothered by that, honestly. And also sometimes, like, I feel like when you're in camera, when you are being taken on pictures, you know, like it's useful to have things like that, but just in an everyday life I don't think that it's especially helpful, except if you have greasy, like oily skin where you want to control that. But I don't, I have very dry skin, so I don't find that a primer is very necessary for me every day. But when I do use a primer, I use this Smashbox Photo Finish one. So I'll just apply it now, so that I'll do all the shebang today. I'm gonna do everything. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I don't actually wear primer every single day. And I feel like when you have dry skin like me, a very good moisturizer is enough. Like, I don't think you especially need a primer, because when you have oily skin, it's great because it's really gonna help control the sebum, the sebum. I'm not sure you say that in English, but like it's really gonna help control the greasiness of your skin, you know, and it's gonna help you stay matte longer, that is for sure. But on my type of skin, I don't really see that big of a difference on an everyday life, you know. Okay, so that's it for the prep skin part. So now I'm actually gonna apply my foundation. So I've been using the Arbonne Perfecting Liquid Foundation SPF 15. I've been using that since September, I believe, and I really like it. So it's quite it's not on the cheapest side of the brands Arbonne. It's a bit expensive, but it's, in my opinion, it's really worth it because they do a bunch of skincare and makeup products, and everything that I tested is really good, and it's vegan and cruelty free. So it's a really good foundation. So either I use that one or the Fenty Beauty foundation, but the Fenty Beauty is a soft matte foundation, so it doesn't look as good on my skin because I have a dry skin, so my skin is already quite matte. So sometimes it just looks too dry, the Fenty foundation on me, so I like to use that one, and I don't think I have much left of that one actually. So I'll do 2 pump, like 1.5, 2 pump of this, and then it depends, either I use this brush by Zoeva that I love, or I use my beauty blender. It just depends. Sometimes I do both, like I don't know, it just depends on my mood really. But it's a really good foundation. So usually I like to use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD concealer because it's a great concealer. It's one of my favorites. I've been using this for ages, but recently I bought the Urban Decay All Nighter waterproof full coverage concealer. So this is really full coverage, but I have a lot of dark circles, as you can see, so I like something quite thick under my eyes. Well, this is a little bit too thick. It's a little bit too dry for my liking, but it's still okay. I still make it work. But just so you know, this is really thick. This covers really well, but it's quite thick and it's a little dry. So yeah, I just apply this. So I'm gonna need a mirror for that. So I just apply this lightly under my eye. So like I said, I have quite a lot of dark circles, so I like to go a little extra to kind of hide them, you know. So I know it looks like there's a lot right now, but since I apply it with the beauty blender is really gonna suck some product out of my skin and into that. So it's, at the end you'll see that it doesn't look cakey. It needs a little more blending because it looks really weird right now compared to that side, but you see the coverage that I was talking about? This is really covering, guys. Like this really does the job. So like I said, today I am going to show you a bit of everything that I do for my foundation, but it's not obviously all the steps that I do every single day. So like I said, I don't use a primer every day, but I still showed you. So I am going to show you how I do my contouring when I actually do it. So I don't do contouring every day, but that's how I do it when I do it. So I use the Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Palette. It's the shade 20, so I think it's the fairest shade. So I mainly use these two. I never use that one, and I hardly ever use that one. So I'm gonna take the brown first and then the light shade. So I'm taking the brown on this flat brush here, and so I never do a big like heavy contour. It's just not my kind of thing. So I'm going to go from the ear here, like where the ear begin here, and I'm gonna follow my natural like cheekbone line here. But even when I do contour, I never go big on the contouring, because it just I don't like when it's too heavy, you know. I prefer when everything is more subtle or more not natural, but like, you know what I mean, like I'm not too crazy about the big Instagram contouring thing, you know, like very harsh, very unnatural. So I feel like a lot of people are quite scared to do the contouring, because they are scared to end up really brown or orange here and too white here, like really unnatural, really, you know, kind of ugly almost. But it's not that scary. Like, it's really not that hard to keep it quite natural. You just have to be quite subtle with your hand. Like you have to not have a heavy hand, you know. If you just do it with a light hand, then you're gonna have a shadow effect, but it's not gonna be too much, you know. So just don't be scared to try it if you want to, like if you feel like you want to but you're afraid that it's not gonna look nice, then just try in your house on a Sunday when you have nothing to do, and just experiment with it, and you'll see that it's not as hard as you may think it is. And just keep in your mind that you have to have a light hand, that you really need to blend a lot. And the main rule is that the outside of your face has to make kind of a 3 shape like that, and that's the part that has to be dark, that has to be brown. And then the inside of your face, where you have the most, like, how do you say, like the not the biggest parts, but like just the inside of your face, basically like the T-zone in here, is where you're gonna apply the light shade. And so now that you did your brown, you're gonna do your light shade, so that white creamy shade here. So you just take that on a flat concealer brush, and you're going to apply this on your T-zone, so where you want to bring the light, so on the inside of your face. The outside of your face, like I said, is where you're going to create your shadow, and the inside of your face is where you're going to create your light. And then I also like to apply some light underneath the shadow here, underneath the dark part that we created here, just to kind of clean really sharp everything up. still keeping it quite subtle. It's just gonna help to emphasize the shadowing part here, but it's gonna help clean up a bit, clean up the edges here a bit too, but really keep everything subtle, you know? So there you see how much it helps to sculpt the face. So now what we're going to do is we're going to powder just to fix everything, to make sure that the foundation and the creams that we used are not going to go all over the place during the day. So powdering is quite important. So first what I will do is take a big powder brush like that, just take a little bit of powder and just swipe that a bit everywhere. Just to take the too much shine away, and also just fixing everything up. And then again, that's not something I do every day, but that's something I do quite often. I'm gonna bake a little, just a little. So I take my beauty blender, I take quite a bit of powder, and I'm gonna apply this underneath my eyes, just to really stick the concealer there, like to really make sure that it's not going to move during the day. It also just really smooth underneath the eyes really well after when we take it off. So it just gives a really good effect. So you just let your powder bake like that for a little while. Just for example, during the time that you're going to do your powder contouring now. So for the powder contouring part, I use this MAC palette that is not in a great shape because I've used and abused it so many times. And I'm just going at the same spots that I already did my cream contour. So I'm just going lightly on the same places. So now I'm just taking my NARS Orgasm blusher. It's been my favorite for years. And I just apply it on the apples of my cheek first. And then I just lightly extend it a little bit. But I keep it mostly on the apples here. And then I'm going to take my highlighters. So this is by far my favorite, and if you've been watching my videos, you know that I always use this one. So this is the Mary Luminizer by The Balm. I think everybody knows it by now because it's super famous. I actually broke it like a few months ago and I managed to repair it. Hallelujah, because it would have been a real loss for me. And so you just apply this at the same places that you applied the Strobe Cream earlier. You just apply this here. And then the last step for the skin that I will do is I will take back my contouring palette and I will take the two lightest shades here. I'm just gonna mix them with my brush and I will just dab that underneath my eyes, just So you know, I did like the dark powder contouring part here, so I just do it with the light powder too. So earlier I took the light white creamy shade and I applied it here. So now I take the light white shade but in powder, you know, like I just do the same places, the same steps, but with the white powder. So there you have the finished look with the eyes, the lips and everything. So this is basically what I do for my foundation. Sometimes I'll do a bit less depending on what I have to do for the day. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is the full-on foundation routine that I have, and I hope that it was helpful for you and that you like this video. And as always, please give a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, what you want to see next, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye! Bye! See you soon. Bye bye.